Hello, it's 2026, second quarter of 2026, and learning to draw is still a struggle for a lot of people. I noticed that there are many tutorials out there, and all those videos, contents, they seem to rush everyone. And learning everything is not a rush. It's not a scam. It's not a get rich scheme that most people want to promise you. But of course, let me try to change your mindset about that. Okay, so a little introduction of myself. This is my second channel actually, and the reason I created another channel because of one guy I noticed that he was disappointed learning a video tutorial and he enrolled it online and got of course disappointed. Paying something that you cannot deliver is very not good. So it's the reason why I'm going to try again and try to teach you how to learn correctly, the honest way that I know of. Because honestly, uh, I learned to draw first before I write my alphabet. So that's when I was still in grade school. So learning should not be very stressful, and that's I want to accomplish, and I'm going trying to discuss this how to learn to of course learn to draw. Okay, so let me just exercise, give my ball pen some good drawings out there from the ballpoint. Okay, so how do we uh, how do we learn drawing? Of course, there'll be many things about drawing. Of course, I noticed that most of the drawing tutorials out there are not beginner friendly. When I say not beginner friendly, most of the topics are very structured. That they will give you anatomy. They will jump you got perspective, drawing shapes, everything like that. They just want to bundle everything, and I don't know how anyone would absorb all that information. Of course, you are just trying to begin. Look at me. You see, you notice what I'm drawing. I'm not drawing anything. Like everything else, when you wake up, you need some warm up, and you do not wake up early in the morning and start running or getting heavy weights already. No, you stretch. So that's the first thing you do in the morning. You stretch, uh, take a put your eyes view something before try to open your cell phone, because the eyes is not very good in absorbing ultraviolet light, UV lights from your cell phone screen. You need natural light. So by means of natural, you need to also learn naturally. So all those tutorials that I've seen most of the time are overwhelming for beginners. Because frankly, I I myself I review other video tutorials, and I don't agree most of the time when you are going to teach someone how to draw for beginners, and all of those, even the most basics are very cruel. That's what I noticed. So there's too many information that they are giving, exercises, and actually I do not want to recommend you learning from an application, because first of all, you're not learning to draw. You're learning the application, not the drawing itself. So learning the application will give you weeks and not yet a drawing. Of course, there's a different level of learning for everyone. Not everyone has that same pace of fast learning. There are slow learners. So for slow learners, getting frustrated early in the game is not very welcome for anyone, especially for someone who wants to start. So we're going to forget all those Greek words, uh, like body parts, what's the those things and that, because I didn't learn most of that when I was uh, learning when I was a kid. Because the truth about learning is like this one. If you notice, I am drawing lines. No, you have to be, I mean, to be comfortable drawing. It is usually called this hatching. This is a cross hatch, should be this one, but the way you do this is draw upward, then lip and repeat. So push down, raise up, raise down. So that's how you learn to draw, because it's very simple, but people ignore the importance of that simplicity. You need to be comfortable, of course, learning to hold a ball pen, pencil, whatever. Okay, so we do not need also very expensive materials when we are going to try to learn to draw. Any paper, it doesn't need to be uh, it doesn't need to be a sketchbook, because there was no sketchbook when I was learning. Remember, I said that learned to I first learned to draw before my ABCs. So giving expensive materials early in the game is not what I recommend to do. And aside from that, look at me. I'm over 50 and I've been doing this for most of my life. I've been I'm drawing, and and if you notice there is a uh, what do you think is materializing? What drawing is appearing before your eyes? No? You notice I'm overlapping other lines here. See the darkness and light or something, and if you're guessing it right, or let me tell you, it is a cloud, because most of the drawings I do are airplanes, so I love airplanes. So learning to draw clouds is probably an important skills that I need to learn, because back then I do not have backgrounds when I'm drawing aircrafts. I just leave it aside as plain, and in drawing something very plain is very boring, dull, nothing much. Okay, so back to my discussion about drawing. I learned to draw by copying, and to give you an idea, because my father always would give me photos of cars. This is back in the day na late 70s and early 80s. My father would bring photos of cars, concept cars, hot rods, and I would draw them. And the good thing about my father is that my dad, he do not criticize, he do not say any negative things when I'm drawing. He just give me new photos of cars that I had to draw, and I just keep drawing and drawing. That method of teaching how to draw I test it to my son, and to give you an example of my son's drawing, because my son is 23 right now, but when he was in his grade school, just let me show you, like this one. Yeah, if you notice it. Okay, so back then when my son is just a little, when we're doing some grocery and my wife would be on the counter for paying the items we bought, no, I would let my son sit at my feet, but I would give him this this is a whole bond paper, so just you notice. So I would give him a this side of paper. This is his reference. I would draw this, and he would draw on the bottom. No, of course he cannot read yet, so I just mark the things that it is looks okay. So like this one, I draw a jet. I draw from memory, of course. This is a practice. If you keep drawing and you got bored, I mean, it's not that you got bored, for drawing and drawing, keep drawing and everything. Most of the time it would come into memory. So this is a Yak 130, a Russian trainer, and this is what he drew. So afterwards, so like I said, practice lagi. It is a Filipino word, so it means keep practicing. Of course, this one, I was of course drawing. This is a sample of a Bradley IFB. So this is what he drew, and I think he got bored. So this is what he do. Okay, and of course a mini sub, and this is of course like I said, I do not criticize my son's drawing, so he just keep drawing. So I appreciate all of this, and I kept it. I kept his drawing. Probably, of course, it is my treasure. Of course, this one, this is a simple anatomy. Of course, I put this. This is me, and this is his drawing. Okay, so just a little bit, only bigger, of course. And I also draw a gun, so he also draw a gun, so it's not good. So I just mark it. If the drawing is okay, so it's okay. Okay, so this is my drawing. So I keep a. This is if I put this in mostly on my pocket. So anytime if I need to draw, there's a handy scratch paper that I need to have easy to pull in. Of course, this is especially this one. Okay, this is on June 2011. It is in our place. So I draw a space shuttle here, and he drew. So that's it. When I was a kid, my father would give me photos. For my son, I just draw, and I hope he would draw the shape. Remember, I'm just giving a piece of paper to my son and telling him to draw, and I didn't say anything about shapes. I didn't say this is a circle, this is a triangle, this is a rectangle. I just gave him this, and he just draw from this. Okay, so there's a lots of notes here. October 20. Of course, there's a lots of also other drawings that I think he drew. Okay, because I love to draw concepts. So like this one, this is a car. This is the car. So he didn't draw anything. So this is me. This is mine, and this is what he drew. And this is 2009. Earlier, it was 2011. So he was more younger. On this drawing. Okay, so like this one, so it's not in the mood, so that's it. Of course, this is his other drawings. See, he said this is Megatron, so see how kids draw, because they have more imagination, unlike when you are mature. You think if you draw something, they would say, they would criticize your art or something. So that would be a bit awkward for everyone, because that's the problem when we grow. When we grow, we do not like to be criticized, receive negative words about our work. So that hinders our ability in our if we want to learn something, whether it is drawing, cooking, dancing, singing. uh, we always do not want to receive anything that's it's not good to the not good to the ear po, to be heard. We do not like negativity, but uh, we need to ignore the noise, ignore this negativity, just continue, learn to draw, and and show your progress. Like this one, of course, this was 2007, so this is more earlier, getting older on the drawings. This one, this is my son's drawing, of course. So why I keep showing my son's drawing, I I cannot find some of the last drawings of my son, but I can tell you that my son's drawing is very good. So if I find it, I will just post it on the link below so you could see it. Okay, so just a wrap up. Now let me show you some of my drawings, especially this one is a pocket size drawing. So when I'm anywhere, and instead of scrolling or something, so I just draw. I like to draw many things because it's fast to draw, and they're easily fit in my wallet. Okay, of course. You recognize this is an F-117. Of course, this is the F-35. Of course, I put date here. Okay, happy birthday, mom. Okay, of course, this is Julia Roberts from Pretty Woman. And sometimes I would look at scroll on the internet, what a nice thing nice to draw. That's something of course lately I'm very bored of modern weapons, that stealth fighters. There's a few jets out there, modern jets right now, that's unlike before. There's plenty. Okay, so that's not this one. Of course this is Wonder Woman. This is not Gal Gadot, of course. This is Linda Carter something, and this is a MiG-35. MiG-25. The first fastest recorded jet fighter. First recorded to be Mach 3.2, and they say this it was a miscalculation, but who cares? Of course, my favorite mecha, Macross, and of course we have Gilby. Of course, Miyazaki. That would be from Princess Mononoke. This is from Porco Rosso, and it's forgot. Okay, so that's I have lots of other drawings, but probably I was not prepared to find one. This is my concept jet. Of course, like I said, I like to draw. I also draw women. So either I draw weapons or women. Okay. So this is of course, this is a Avenger World War II. Torpedo plane became a electronic warfare aircraft. So that's how most of the time how I draw. I need something that is small to work with, easy to carry, and I apologize it took me 20 minutes for this to finish. So again, I hope I would again appreciate if you would give a comment of if you understood what I'm trying to discuss here, and hopefully I would create another video about tutorials on drawing. Thank you very much for listening, and have a nice day.